Hi, you all. Welcome back to another episode of RunYogi Diaries. I have an amazing guest today. Someone who's been on a journey of fitness and well being for an entire lifetime. She is a wellness coach and someone who's an expert in the area of flow. She's also a Zumba practitioner and has reached many peaks. We get behind the scenes of her journey, understand a little bit about what is Zumba and what is breathwork and flow. Let's welcome Jyothika Dwarkanath. If you like the work I do in this channel, please remember to hit subscribe, press like, and leave your comments. And remember to share this video if you love the conversation. This episode is also available on all the major podcast platforms such as Apple, Google, Spotify, Anchor, and others. Let's dig in. Hey Joe, welcome to RunYogi Diaries.
Hey Santi, really wonderful being here, and I'm so happy to just see you and be a part of this.
Yeah, it's an honor. We go back when we were still like 7 or 8 years old, and I've seen you for so many years, and you've had such a fascinating you've focus on fitness and well-being throughout your life. So obviously, we're here to talk about that and
Absolutely.
learn a few things in the process, right? You're a Zumba practitioner and you're now into breath work and flow. So hey, all of that stuff is very exciting and esoteric. So let's get into that. Before that, let me have you do a quick personal introduction for the audience, and then we'll jump in.
All right. Hi, everybody. I am Jyothika Dwarkanath. I'm a fitness and wellness coach. So I bring not only just physical fitness, but also fitness for the mind, using the breath as if the mind and body is not aligned, then there is something that will give way. So I work on holistic wellness, adding fun fitness component to the concept of fitness, it being a lifestyle more than something that you would do for like 30, 40 minutes a day or so. And my whole purpose has been trying to heal people through fitness as well. So merging different modalities. I also practice healing, access consciousness. I am the Nirvana education specialist for India. I'm also a flow coach. These are a few of the things I do to help
Yeah,
people in different ways.
nice,
Yeah.
nice. It's all in the metaphysical, and Joe,
Yes.
this year in 2022, one of the objectives in the podcast for me is to bring conversations around mental health and spiritual health.
Yes.
If you so the part of my podcast has been Run Yogi, so I've had a lot of conversations around the endurance side of it, which is the run side of it. But this
Hmm.
year I want to talk about the metaphysical and the physical, the mental aspect, which is, so this is a perfect conversation, perfect timing,
Great.
early
Great.
in the year. And so we will get into all that, but before that, let's maybe do a bit of a flashback and and get a background on what got you into all this, into fitness and well-being. And you started with Zumba, right? Way back. So
Yes, I
let's hear about
started with.
that. Yeah.
So, as you know, right from a young age, I was into dancing, right? I love to
Mm.
dance, and a lot of people still remember me that I would love to dance. So it was just by accident that actually Zumba happened to me.
Mm.
I've always involved in fitness for personal care, and it so happened that there was a time when I was working out in the gym in India, and the power went off, and so I just hooked on my iPod and I just started doing aerobics and something that I was used to doing for myself. And it's people who watched me and saw me do this multiple times, and they said, "Can you teach us?" And then I
Mm.
started actually with aerobics, and then people did watch me dance in some parties, and they said, Joe, just teach us, for some Bollywood dance. So I was doing Bollywood dance and aerobics, and I was thinking there should be a way that I should be able to combine this.
Mhm.
So then I was just doing a search, and Zumba showed up, and the training was about 5 kilometers from my house in the same month. And I said, I'm just going to do this. And so that's how Zumba happened. I was one of the first 9 people in India to be certified as a Zumba instructor.
Wow.
And I just loved it. Zumba was a great way to bring fun into the fitness, and it was exploring different dance styles, adding fitness to it. It was
Yeah.
great. And then it's been 11 years as a Zumba instructor now. I still love it, still love to teach. I have students of all age group, including 15-year-olds who come to my class, and I love teaching them. Yeah, and
Yeah.
keep them going. So that's how Zumba happened to me. And in the journey, since I was teaching, I got certified as a personal trainer. I got certified as a group fitness trainer. I moved on to doing things like TRX and more of strength-based training, so kettlebell and all kinds of weighted workouts. So now I also have, with Zumba, I have strength training going on for programs for seniors as well. So I have a whole batch of older, all the active old community. They are anywhere from 66 to 75 years old, and they do strength training with me.
Yeah.
Of course, I do it for the normal people as well. And
Normal people.
it's like people who are,
What are the middle-aged guys and the middle-aged
yes,
people are the normal people? So they're the
yeah,
young people and they're the old people and then there are normal people.
yeah. I mean, like people who are more fitness oriented,
I know,
right?
I know, I got
So,
it.
like, yeah.
So
So,
so I think this part of the conversation is very important, and we are still in the physical domain, and let's hold off till we get into the metaphysical. But I was reading about history of Zumba, right? And
mhm.
it seemed like your journey is very similar to the guy who founded Zumba. And I was reading about his
Yes,
story. He went to a gym. He forgot his I think fitness equipment or something, and he started
that's right.
dancing
Forgot
to
his CDs.
uh,
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah. So yeah, fascinating. Looks like you had a similar journey with Zumba.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so to talk to you, also said you added things like TRX, and so what is TRX? Why, how does that help and add to this?
So TRX is suspension training. So you have these cables or bands by TRX, and it's great. You just need the small little equipment. You can hook it on your door. You could hook it on a gym, and it's working against gravity most of the
Mm,
time. So that means it's a powerful body weight
yeah.
training, and something like that is just good enough. And TRX came out from the Army and the Navy guys who use this equipment because it's so easy to carry for their training as
Yeah.
well. And it kind of is a lot of concentration, lot of core work, and building strength, endurance. You can do cardio level training with TR. It's very versatile, and
Right.
I love TRX. When I started training my son, we used to do TRX quite a bit,
Hmm.
and the youngsters love it. It's so versatile. You can do. I don't know of any body part that you can't work out with TRX.
Mhm. And yeah, I mean, absolutely, I right. And I think in the domain of endurance sports, people, a lot of our audience who probably and listeners who are listening to this podcast are people who are runners, cyclists,
Mhm.
could be mountaineers. And I think one area that everybody is beginning to realize is core and strength training to be a very
Yes,
important part of your
absolute,
overall strength, overall
absolute.
fitness, right? And I
Yeah.
think so it makes sense, something like. And so is TRX, is it something that you need to have to go to a gym, or at home? Can you do this at home, or do you need a coach?
No,
What's
no,
the
you
best way
can do
to?
it at home. You can do it at home. Yes, I would advise first learning the moves with a coach. There is,
Hmm.
of course, a lot of guidance and videos that you can find online as well. And through TRX, once you buy the equipment, you sign up, you get those videos and access to them. I would not advise doing any workout without a coach.
Yeah.
You should
Makes
do
sense.
it right, because fitness is not about just performing for a short period, but staying fit for life.
Yeah.
So to do that, you need to make sure you have no injuries. So to be injury free, you want to get guidance first. Once you're at a certain level, I would still advise try to work with the coach and don't try to randomly go off on your own. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, take the guidance. It's available, so use it.
Yeah. And the other thing about Zumba, coming to Zumba, right?
Mhm.
So you've been an instructor. Do you see a lot of endurance athletes coming and using Zumba as like a cross training? I think it makes a lot of sense, right?
No, Zumba is more a cardiovascular exercise. It is not as such for endurance, but we do have a new format that Zumba has started that's called Strong. I also teach Strong, which is more body weight training and will
Hmm.
build endurance. And that has a little bit more structured program where you have a decent warm up and then you have certain body parts that you work repeatedly. And the best part of it is all synced to the music. So
Hmm.
it's very easy to do. You need, of course, a coach to guide you while you're doing it. That is a very good solution for endurance because it's a good mix of cardiovascular with strength, body weight strength. Plus, also Zumba has other programs, which is Zumba toning using weights. There are programs available under the Zumba brand to do both endurance and cardio. But if you're looking for something like if you, like you're a runner, right?
Hmm.
I would add in at least 2 to 3 days of good strength training, solid strength training apart from just the cardiovascular uh,
Hmm.
training sessions. Yeah.
Great. So do you have a lot of do you get a lot of endurance athletes coming to you and saying, "Hey, I want to take on Zumba," or is that a thing?
Yes.
Hmm.
No, not to
No.
take on Zumba because they
No.
get a lot of cardiovascular while doing
Yeah.
their
Yeah. Yeah.
running already. So I
Right.
would not
Right.
add on. I would usually take them on a personal training
Got it.
level and give them more strength, to improve their
Makes
leg
sense.
strength and more core, give them techniques for the running and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. And so, how's it been for you? I mean, I know you have a. How did it all happen? In the sense, you could have been a technologist. You have an engineering background, and so how is it for you to become a wellness coach? I mean, one is to do this for yourself, right? People do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So, how did it all become about others? How did you end up in that journey?
Um, so I was in technology for a long time, almost 12 years, doing hardcore firmware and stuff. And somehow I feel I was not contributing. I was working in the MPEG domain
Hmm.
and implementing all the algorithms for DVDs and set-top boxes. So it was very intense. And at some point, once just observing what I'm working on and how is
Hmm.
it impacting the society, I
Hmm.
just felt there was some kind of separation and I didn't feel fulfilled. While the fitness thing, I felt more of a connect to people,
Hmm.
and for me, even if I could make a difference to this one person,
Yeah.
uh, it was more satisfying than the the awards or the rewards I ever got in the technical field. So that's what
Yeah.
kind of drove me to do something more for people. I learn, I stay fit, they get better in
Yeah.
their health. Uh,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
Mhm.
absolutely. I think that's well said. I think with especially with the world the way it is today, there is a
Yeah.
whole bunch of material success. There is
Mhm.
lots of prosperity around the
Mhm.
world, but there's no joy, right? And and
Yes.
and and it, and when you meet people who are in a pursuit of fitness of any kind, right, whether it is
Mhm.
running or Zumba, you don't feel people who are dejected and down, I think it brings back a certain level of joy into your life.
Yep. Yep.
And then you can take
Absolutely.
that and go out and do what you want to do in whatever you're doing, right?
Yep.
So that's well said.
Yeah, and being in technology for so many years, I could understand the nuances of most of the folks when they're in full time and more
Mm,
at work, and how to motivate them, how to help them, how to make it a part of their lifestyle, kind of, so both of them help, I mean,
yeah,
I will not forget my technology days as well, but this is a lot more satisfying.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And you also like hiking and trekking. You head up to mountains pretty often too,
Yes,
right?
yes, I love it. I love the time to hike up. I love how my body starts working for me
Mm,
after a certain point, and then it's just like you have what we call the runner's high, right?
yeah,
Once you're there, the body just keeps going. It just keeps going, and then you are connected completely, and nothing else exists at that point. And that's what
yeah,
happens to me when I go to the mountains. It's me, uh, my God, and myself, and just go. And it's a great feeling. The closest I could come to say is it's a runner's high, and
yeah,
staying in that for a while, and that's also connected to flow. So
yeah, yeah,
yeah, which we'll talk about in a bit. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And what about nutrition in the middle of all this? Did you kind of pursue any specialized nutritional strategies, or what
So
do you do about that?
I'm so happy you called it nutrition, Santosh. It's so happy that you called it nutrition because I believe in nourishing the body. You want the body to
Mm,
work for you, you better nourish it, right? You don't take away things from it. Yes, so as part of my certification as an ACE personal trainer and group trainer, nutrition was a part of it. And over the years, working with, there's no one formula that fits all, right?
mm,
So nutrition it's a simple formula if you look at only calories, but then, those things don't measure your even a difference between a man and a woman. It just gives you very generic numbers.
mm,
So every body type is different. So usually when I get a client, there's a lot of studies I do on their current nutrition and what is it that their body needs based on what sport they want to go into,
mm,
right? So yes, nutrition plays a big role. I'm not a certified nutritionist, but I have had enough experience with
mm,
different body types. And in fact, I've had clients who had to add more calories to their diet for them to lose weight. I know
mm.
it doesn't sound right, but yeah, it's required at times
So
because
what do
it's
you mean? Say,
balancing the nutrition.
speak about that. What did you mean by that? I mean, why would that's kind of counterintuitive, right? Adding
Yeah,
calories to
it
lose
is.
weight.
Yeah,
How does that
yeah.
work?
It's a,
Talk a little bit about that.
so it's like, so I've had a couple of clients, mostly women, right?
Mm,
They get very conscious and they eat very little, and
mm,
it's not sufficient for them. So actually, internally, their organs start getting even weaker, but the body goes into what we call the starvation mode, that anything it gets, it will hold on to.
okay.
So then you need to give a balanced nutrition to the body. So first, the organs are doing their 100% and not working
Mm,
inefficiently. Then they're able to digest, nourish the body, so then they can burn more,
mm,
right? They can be more fitter because when you are into endurance training, you're going to be burning a lot of calories. But if you
yeah.
don't have any, something in the body is giving to give you that
Right.
energy, right? So that's actually really bad for the body. So you need to balance your nutrition to what kind of output you want from the body as well. So
Mm.
yeah.
So how do you, so is there like I mean, is there a system or a method? How do you know this? I mean, how do you know a person needs to eat more versus someone? Is there how do you scientifically? Is there like a method to that?
Yeah, so I we monitor the calorific intake for a
Hmm.
whole week of this person. What is the pattern? When do they get hungry? What is it that they go
Hmm.
for? So, there's timed, we get a full diary of the person, from anything that goes in the mouth, what activity they do and how they feel during the time. And when we relate to their, similar to BMI, we do the BMI as well. And but then that the nourishment is insufficient for what they want to do, and hence around 4 or 5 o'clock they are tired, exhausted. That's when the
Hmm.
kids come home and they need the energy at that point, right? And they don't have any, right? So then that
Hmm.
translates to sitting in front of the TV, watching stuff, and then your body is just goes into slow down mode, right? So yeah, there is a science behind it. You have to study each person's dietary needs and their nutrition, what they're taking, and then we give the
Yeah, that
suggestions
makes
as to
sense.
what
Makes
is it
sense.
to and measure the protein, the carbohydrate, what are they taking. Water is so essential that most
Mhm.
people miss out on water. So
Right. Right. And for you personally,
mhm.
from a nutritional point of view, are you like a vegetarian? Is there anything like any views on vegetarian? I mean, that's another big debate that happens in the world today, right? Be a
Yes.
vegan or be a vegetarian or be a carnivore, and people get confused uh, with regards to nutrition. Have you had to deal with those kind of questions from your and for yourself and others?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So, what are your views on
Absolutely.
that?
So I'm a vegetarian. I used to have eggs. I don't have eggs as well anymore. It was
Mm,
an experiment I did with myself for the last 1 year. Excuse me. So I do not like to suggest anything to clients unless I have kind of experienced myself a
mm,
little bit. So I do not advocate a lot of programs that's already there. And there's this myth that if your body weight is so much, then you should be consuming so much protein. And if you're an athlete, 1.5 grams per body weight. I eat normal. I used to eat a lot of eggs, before for the protein, and then I just cut it off. I said, okay,
mm,
let's see. And my body is still works for me the way I want it. I have not
mm,
found I can still lift the weights I want to. I can do everything I want to. No changes.
mm,
So so definitely, there is a lot of thing on vegan and vegetarian. I think where protein is concerned, there are enough sources that we are taking sufficient for the body, unless you are not taking enough. So I do not
mm,
measure. I just go with, again, I asking the body what it needs, right?
mhm,
That's where we get into the metaphysical state, right? So
mhm,
sometimes I just hold a bowl of dal or curd and just close my eyes and say, body, do you need this? And sometimes I get the answer, no, I just put it away. But if it says yes, I just consume it. So
mm. Say
using
more
some
about
of
that.
these things.
What do you mean by that? I mean, where is that voice coming from?
Yes. So where's the voice coming from? So it's coming from the body. It's coming from
Mm,
within you. So if you're eating a full meal, at
mhm,
stop after 5 minutes and then ask the body, "Are you full?" Actually, it's just magical. Just
mhm,
you. I would
mhm.
like everybody to do some of these experiments.
Yeah.
Ask the body, you want more? Are you done? And you will get an internal reflex and you'll start
Mm,
recognizing it, yes or no, very clear. A simple way to do this is you can just stand and just, body needs only three things:
mm,
salt, sugar, and water. This is what it craves for. But we
mm,
give it pizza, right? Cake, and a drink, right? But body doesn't know anything different. These are the three main things that it asks for.
mhm,
So you can hold anything, and your body is craving for salt. You just
mhm,
hold a bag of chips in your hand, close your eyes, stand up, and if your body wants it, your body will just lean forward. If your
mm,
body doesn't need it, it'll just lean backward. It's just amazing how this works. So just try
Wow.
playing around with it, and then you'll recognize the signals that your body, what it
Mm.
needs, what is it asking for. Definitely, if it's asking for salt, don't go for the chips. You can also take chips, and you can take something more nutritional in your hand and say, body, is this what you want? Or is this chips what you want? And give the body what it wants. Do not deny what it wants. Don't let
Wow.
your mind play it.
That's quite amazing. I mean, it's kind of what I'm kind of hearing is almost getting present, like being mindful about what's going on, um,
Yes.
and letting that guide your decision
Yes.
versus someone who is be compulsive, be automatic compulsive behavior about eating, which is
Right.
what gets us all in trouble, right? Just compulsive.
Yes.
You
Yes.
biryani ko dekh liya to, oh, I want to go eat that. I want to finish the whole thing,
Yeah.
right? It's not
Yeah.
conscious.
Yeah.
It's not conscious. It's not a conscious
You're
thing.
not
It's just
conscious.
automatic.
Exactly.
That
Exactly. And
that's
the other things which most people do is they see, oh, it's 7:30, it's time for breakfast. It's 12
hmm,
o'clock, it's time for lunch. It's 7 o'clock, it's time for dinner. No, it's
yeah.
time to eat when you're hungry. Most
Hmm,
people don't know hunger anymore, right?
hmm,
You don't let your body feel hunger. And when you
yeah.
stop recognizing these simple messages the body is saying, I'm hungry, most of the time it's saying I'm thirsty,
Hmm,
right? So you have the glass of water, then you're not as you don't need the food anymore. So we are actually overeating because of the time, and not recognizing the messages the body is giving us. So
yeah.
just I would say play around with it, and then
Yeah.
see, it's actually fun. It
Yeah.
actually becomes fun, and then you tune into your body, and you know what is when you're hungry and what you're hungry for. So
Hmm. That's great. There's a lot of gold, platinum, and diamonds you just shared, Joe. I think mindfulness. I think what my I'm taking away and is eating more is to lose weight is counterintuitive, but there's logic to it. If you're
yeah,
under
but
eating,
what are you eating there is very
yeah,
important, right?
right,
Yeah,
right,
what are you eating more of? It should be
yeah,
more nutritional to what
hmm,
your expected output or what you
yeah,
want
yeah,
your
yeah.
energy
So
output has to be.
so
Yeah.
so that's one extreme, one end of the
Hmm.
spectrum where we hear from people and we all go through the same thing constantly about I got to eat less, I got to eat less. So that's also another compulsive kind of behavior. And
Hmm.
what you're saying is that, hey, that is not necessarily the true truth. There may be sometimes you have to eat more to get healthy,
Yeah.
and then have the ability to metabolize and
Yeah.
lose weight,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the other end of the spectrum is the compulsive eating, which is eating when you don't need to. And
Yeah.
again, there is again gold that you called out as just being almost being meditative about what you eat, right? That's
Yes. Yes.
powerful. And I think this is what our ancients called sattvic and rajasic.
Yes.
I guess this
And
is what they
tamasic.
mean,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
about what you eat, it's also about who you are about what you eat
Yeah, who you are and how you eat, right?
and how you eat.
So most of the people have the phone, so they don't
Hmm.
understand when the stomach is sent to the brain the message that I'm done.
Yeah.
But so because
Wonderful.
you're distracted somewhere else, and you just keep eating till the plate is
Yeah.
empty, and then you don't even know that the signal has passed and it's gone. It'll say it once, twice, and then you have overruled it anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, just be
Beautiful.
conscious
Great.
about you
Great,
eat.
guys. This is gold. This is gold. Take this down, and you got to practice this mindful eating. So, while we are at this, so we've kind of slowly drifted to the metaphysical, and I think it's a great way to get into metaphysical. If your stomach is not full, forget metaphysics and forget spirituality. So I think it's a good logical pivot to talk about um, what's flow, and talk to us about that. What are you doing in that space?
So, flow is a state of being where you are one with yourself, mind, body, soul as one. Uh, Time is walked, everything comes to a still. Like if I connect it to a runner's high at that point, or people who go skiing or surfing, you're so focused on the task, you're in that state of peak performance where nothing else exists. Your mind is only that one target, right? That you have to complete. At that point, you don't care what your run rate is. At that point, you don't care how many miles. It's just you have the finish line. It's that experience that you have at that moment. So being in the state of flow, using your breath, and our body is one of our largest sense organs, right? The way we perceive the world. Using that to be in the state of flow 24/7. You get a runner's high peak and then it comes down and then you go back to achieve the peak. But as a runner, you cannot reach the runner's high every day. You get that runner's high, those specific moments, you get into that state. But how do you get into the state throughout the day with whatever task you're doing is a concept of flow. And, breath is the gateway to a calm mind. And so flow uses a lot of breath techniques and body. We have multiple triggers in flow to get to that state. Something simple that I can say is if you're reading a book, right, or you're playing some game, right? Actually, flow is also used in a lot of these video games that children play today. That we call it, oh, they're addicted, but actually they're in the state of flow where at that point they neither listen to the parents. You don't hear anything else. You're so focused, right? So when you're reading a book, time has passed or time has stopped, right? There's no hunger, there's nothing. It's just that one thing, and you're so involved in it. And you're at that peak state, is what I would say. That is a state of flow, right?
So
and
how
we use
did
our
you get
different
into it?
senses.
How did
So,
you?
yeah, so nirvana is what brought me to flow. Flow is the mother of nirvana. So nirvana is a breathing fitness format which adds strength and flexibility to movements, and a lot of rhythmic and a specific technique is used in nirvana to get to that state of calm and peace and oneness. So once you're there, right, everything is clear. There's a lot of clarity. There is, again, a oneness, right? There's only response. There is no reaction. So when you are in that state, you can give your best to everything, right? And flow is nirvana is one of the basic principles under flow. And in flow, we also add other aspects to it, like we use olfactory senses, we use visual senses, we use audible senses to get into the state of flow. It was just a
So,
natural progression for me. Yeah.
so did you kind of like what what did you what triggered you to pursue this? What was going on for you that you said this was something you wanted to learn about, or did you
Yeah.
talk to us about that?
So, yeah, so this is very interesting. So when I got in, when Nirvana came into my life, I should say that again, because I was teaching 14 hours of fitness classes, Zumba and strength training classes a week. And as an instructor, you usually put in like 150% in a class to get a 60-70% out of your students, right? Because students do cheat sometimes, and then they'll go one rep less. But as a coach, you better be doing it to egg them on. So my body was, you accumulate stress in your body, right? And so I just went for this master class. A coach had come in from Singapore and she was doing Nirvana. It actually came in a Zumba group. I said, okay, let me just go try this out. And when I went there, I just loved the concept. And I came home and my body was asleep for 6 hours straight. And it was because of the amount of stress it had been through. But my mind was like so clear, alert. I felt so refreshed, but my body was like, no, no more. So at that point, I went back to my coach and I spoke to her and asked her, my student's going to be falling asleep like this. She said, no, you've accumulated that stress in the body. Now that you've actually oxygenated your body completely,
Mhm.
all your cells are so happy and your organs are all getting reset to perform better. So they need the rest, which
Mm.
I did not ever let them rest, right? So that actually, when I started getting into the science behind, I was so convinced that this is one way, because fitness is not health of your muscles, but
Mm.
it's also health of your organs, which many people
Mm.
miss. And nobody is dying because you did not lift 10 kgs
Yeah.
or you did not run the 10K, but you are, it's because of a kidney issue or lung issue or basically an organ issue, right?
Mhm.
Now, I wanted to, when this came in, it was a merger of wellness of the whole being, right?
Mm.
Organs and muscles, everything included. So that's how I
Mhm.
just love Nirvana. It's a great way for the mind and the body. Body stays fit and your cells are all well oxygenated. And especially in the last few years of the COVID, this has helped keep my immunity up and also all my clients and students. So,
So give us a sense. What do you do? You talked about different senses, visual, olfactory, and you use all of that in this
mhm,
process. So give us a sense
mhm.
of what exactly do you do to achieve flow?
Okay, so listening to the sound of the ocean.
Hmm.
If you're listening to the sound of the ocean, there is a state that your mind automatically goes, why do people feel so much calmer near water, running water?
Hmm.
Right? Because it's actually related to some sound frequencies. I don't want to delve into that much deep into what happens, because these are
Mhm.
frequencies, the alpha theta waves in the brain, which when you listen to them, you kind of create a meditative state, a calming
Mhm.
state
Mhm.
in the body automatically. So when you listen to that, your breathing also calms down.
Mhm. Mhm.
And when your breathing calms down and you are taking deep breaths, you're actually trying to oxygenate the body to the lung to the full capacity you're using.
Mhm.
And when you take deep breaths in, you do a deep exhale. Runners do this, right? Every now and then
Mhm.
you breathe out through your mouth.
Yeah. Mhm.
Why do you do that? It's a body's direct thing, right? So you get there to that you get when you take a big breath out, it enables you to take in a whole lot of fresh air that
Mhm.
works for
Mhm.
you, right? So one of the auditory things about flow is listening to ocean waves or listening to
Mhm.
binaural beats. I'll tell you smells. Let's talk about the smells, right?
Mhm.
So now, if I just tell you, Santosh, remember the smell of that aroma from the bakery, that
Mhm.
the fresh morning bread that was baked. There's a smile on your face,
Yeah.
right? It
I was
takes
thinking
you.
about. I took me to the smell of fried jeera and onions. That is what is gives me a high. So while you was talking about the bread, my mind wandered there. But yeah,
Yeah. So whatever that is, right, to you.
yeah.
So it is either the aroma from a bakery, or
Mm.
there are some smells that you come across and you suddenly go, it's like a deja vu, like, it
Mhm.
just transports you for some time and you get into that state of flow or the
Right.
happiness, right?
Right.
Or when you really remember some moments with your friends where you're just laughing out, or
Mhm.
some memories with your friends which just trigger that response within you, that momentary you go to that happy state, right?
Mm.
So the goal of flow is to be in a state where a hormone called anandamide is released.
Mm.
And so that happens when you're in peak performance and that Zen state.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's when you're in like a state of flow.
Yeah.
And now you can use your breath to get into that state of flow.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes
And
sense.
there's a technique to do the breathing, and you get into the state. It's a huge topic. It'll need an hour just for flow, and if
Mhm.
not more. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think, and we have all the time. And this is a podcast. That's the nice thing about podcasts, right?
Oh,
If you
cool.
want to, but I think what I'm hearing is definitely, you talked about stress building up because of excessive workout, physical
Workouts.
workout,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think for folks who are listening to this, who are endurance sports athletes and people who are out there pushing themselves, one of the key aspects to we all focus on is recovery, right? And
Yes.
you talked about what is fitness from a not just from muscular perspective but also organ, but fitness is also something that happens in between workouts, right? So
Yes.
when you recover is when you're getting fitter. It's a recovery process that
Yes.
creates fitter.
Yes.
And what you said is gold, because if you can enhance recovery
Hmm.
through what you just shared,
Hmm.
that's that's uh,
Yeah.
that's huge. That's huge, right?
Yeah. It is. It is. So you cannot expect your body to keep performing
Mm,
in when you are pushing it to fatigue every time.
yeah,
It needs the rest and nourishment to perform better for you the next time. So
yeah,
it's that recovery is very, very important.
yeah,
That's when the building happens, the breakage happens when you're actually using and
yeah,
getting to work for you, right? So
yeah,
we want to be in the build stage
yeah,
as well.
yeah, absolutely. And even in the endurance circles, we talk about Anandamaya. We talk about the whole idea of how sympathetic and asympathetic nervous systems operate,
Mhm.
and
Yes.
how adrenaline is good in one context, and it increases your cortisol levels, but it
Yes.
also takes away the ability to heal, which happens when you are resting. And
Yes.
right, and to what you're saying, that's just perfect, because if we can include something like breath work and the
Yes.
work you're doing around flow on in amidst your busy life, in addition to what you're doing in your training and
Yeah.
stuff, it's just a
Yeah.
amazing tool, right?
Yeah. So nirvana is like you. I'm glad you brought the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system kicking in, right? So
Hmm.
nirvana puts you in the state of parasympathetic.
Mm.
So that is your build stage, right?
Right.
And it's like when you start using these breathing techniques and you stay with that and you're using the right muscles now for breathing through the day, you
Yeah.
are pretty much in a state of flow or meditation through the day.
Mm.
I mean, I remember when if you know Kannada, so I can tell you that they used to say Jyotige. My mom used to say Jyotige mug mein yavaglu kopa.
Mm.
So that's like anger resides at the tip of my nose.
Mhm, mhm.
And since Nirvana came into my life, my mom now asks me, "Where is it gone? How are you calm in all situations?" It's just the way it makes you because of
Mm.
the control your breath has, right? And
Yeah,
it's very powerful. It does not take time, Santosh. It's like
yeah.
5 to 10 minutes a day. You can do it pre-workout, 3 minutes breathing, right?
Mhm.
See how your performance improves. And
Yeah,
post-workout breathing, right? 3 minutes. You feel good. So
yeah,
fitness is not about
absolutely.
getting tired, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So the concept is you should feel tired after thing. I'm like, if a person is
yeah,
tired after doing a run, what's the point of being fit?
yeah,
You still have the whole day to go through, right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Right?
It's a
It should.
yeah, totally, totally,
You
totally.
see,
I mean,
I
I think
mean,
you're right. You're right.
but I have
I,
seen people, they work out and they come home and they're like, oh my God, I'm so tired. I'm like, no, that's not the perfect of, I mean,
yeah,
the
yeah,
reason you get fitter is so you can
yeah,
perform better with more
yeah,
ease to the rest
yeah,
of your day.
yeah.
So,
And in life in general, right? And
yeah.
Totally. So some of that is a lot of old school. Again, that whole adrenaline-driven, maybe
Yeah, yeah,
testosterone-driven fitness is
yeah,
all
yeah.
about going and
Short
winning
term.
wars and short term.
Yes, yeah.
But I think the world, the fitness world is realizing it's not about, even in the area in the world of triathlons. I've been reading some of these articles. I've heard some leading triathlon coaches talking about burnout, because if you look at Ironman and triathletes, um, people are really doing 12, 13, 14 hours of training every week, and it leading to burnout and not necessarily
Yep,
healthy.
yep,
And so what you said is absolutely bang on, because if none of that is making your life better,
yeah,
then there's a kind of a irony about the whole
yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah, yeah. There's
Yeah,
something missing somewhere,
you're
right?
missing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So why are
yeah.
you doing it in the first place? So
Yeah,
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 right.
totally. And also, we're talking about fitness here, but hey, at work, right?
Hmm.
Our most of our jobs, is desk jobs. We're all tend to be knowledge workers, looking at computers and doing what?
Hmm.
Doing nothing physically, mostly mentally, and all
Yes,
of that is constantly triggering these cortisol level builds up, this
yes.
adrenaline builds
Tends
up,
to make you eat more.
tends to eat you
Um,
more. And going back to your earlier conversation about not being
yes.
mindful about that, so great. I mean, whatever you're saying is so it's so powerful and so wise. I mean, this is so relevant, right? Because you're really bringing uh, presence. We call it mindfulness, being
Yes.
being here in the moment and being
Hmm.
conscious about what's going on overall, in the
Right.
psychological domain, in the physiological domain. So
Yeah.
that's fantastic. That's just
Yeah.
fantastic.
And that's the key, right? So only you know your body the best. And
Mhm.
you have to be, I may say something that this will work for your body, but only you know. And
Yeah,
being conscious and being connected, I mean, that's the best thing you can have. So
yeah.
connect your body first, connect to its needs first. Then
Hmm.
it's a miracle. It
Hmm.
does magic for you. It's just amazing. You think that you can't. I mean, you just did a triathlon, didn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah. So your body worked for you because there was
yeah,
some point that you connected with the body consciously, listened to it.
yeah,
It was just not reading what to do or
yeah,
seeing a YouTube video to tell you what to do. It is your experience of connecting to yourself. So
yeah, yeah,
otherwise, it's not going to happen. So
yeah. Totally, absolutely. Great. Um, so, what's next on your journey here? I mean, you moved from physical to nutritional to metaphysical. What next?
a lot of it is going to be wholesome
Hmm.
with fitness in mind, but wellness. And my target this year, and I want to focus on more of senior uh,
Hmm.
health.
Hmm.
Primarily because what I have seen is it is sad that there's a whole market for the youngsters and people who
Hmm.
want to go and do these things.
Hmm.
Now you have a whole bunch of aging population who are fit, who are
Hmm.
mentally, very fit, who are physically fit, but there's lack of guidance.
Right.
And so I want to focus more on bringing more of them into this system so that they can continue to contribute to the society, right? By being fit, by being healthy, and being more doing stuff for others, right?
Yeah.
They have
Yeah.
more to give, and right now they are a section of population whose energies have not been used, and there's so much
Hmm.
more. So I definitely want to work on that. And my other thing is to bring a lot more flow to corporates.
Hmm.
So because there are companies and teams in very popular, even in your Mango tech, that people use the concept of flow as teams. So building flow in corporates so that teams work better with each other and
Hmm.
more productive.
Yeah.
Um, right? And
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
that's something that I want to bring forward this year. And yeah, let's see where it goes. There's an
Yeah,
intent, and I need the blessings of the universe to enable me on the path. So,
yeah, yeah. Well said. Well, I'm sure whatever you are up to is a need today that's there in the society among human beings, and as our world, as our I think our mental world becomes complex. I don't think our physical world is getting as complex, but our mental world is getting more and more complex. There are more
mhm.
choices. There are more. Back in the days when there were 10 commandments, or here's how you live life. Maybe you didn't have to. Life was very simple because it was not complicated. But today it's not that. This you're kind of opening up your mind to so many options, and it
Yeah.
adds a lot.
So my thing is, it's always a choice.
Hmm.
You can choose to be in that complexity, or you can choose something that where it's working for you, with you, right? So, and it is as complex as you imagine it to be,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah, yeah,
even in Sanskrit, there is this saying which stands true for eternity, is yatha pinde tatha brahmande, which is what is within you is how you see the world outside. So, and you have the choice to
yeah,
simplify,
yeah, yeah.
right? And
Absolutely,
it's not,
absolutely.
yeah. So, yeah, don't allow that thing to come into the mind. That's where the
Yeah,
more of your mind control, and I'm like,
yeah,
simple
yeah,
questions enable you to solve and keep it simple. So
yeah, yeah. No, totally, totally. I think whatever you're doing is only going to help people with that ability.
yes.
That's an ability that doesn't exist at people don't have mastery over that, and you need to invest. It's like
Mhm.
building muscle. You got to build muscle in that domain.
Yes,
So I think,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I think
Yeah.
whatever you're
Yeah.
doing will only help people do that.
Yes, I hope so. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
terrific. Hey, Joe, that was a great conversation from physical to metaphysical, and we're coming to last part of the conversation where I have a fun Q&A round with my guests.
Okay. All right.
So you ready for that?
Okay, sure.
And my promise to my guests is that I don't put them in trouble. No controversial questions.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So, you know, health, well-being, metaphysics, all that is great, but we love our food and we love junk
Oh
food.
yeah,
We have our cravings. What's your favorite junk food?
pizza.
Pizza. Which kind? Hey, by the way, you are an entrepreneur of pizza too, right? You had a
Yes,
pizza.
absolutely. Yes.
Right, right. So that's where the
Yeah.
connection is.
Yeah, but then I made healthy pizza, so
So
not
they're
so
too
much a junk
healthy.
food. Yes, yes.
So pizza is your junk food. What
Yeah,
pizza is your
yeah.
favorite pizza?
Oh, vegetarian. Load them up with veggies,
Hmm.
and I'll gobble it up anytime.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Um, a song that inspires you.
Wow, this is a tough one, actually. I dance to songs, so all songs are. This is a tough one to answer, Santosh.
Do you listen to music other than when you're working out?
I do, and they are actually bhajans and
Hmm.
devotional songs.
Sure.
So I do listen to one of my favorite ones is Achyutam Keshavam,
Hmm.
about Lord Krishna. So that is my go-to song. Just lifts me up anytime. So
Yeah,
yeah, so that's one.
that's the
It's
one.
not a Bollywood song. Sorry if you're my students, and I
No, who cares? It's your
yeah,
song. Who cares? It's your
yeah,
song. That it's a song that
yes,
inspires you. It doesn't
yes,
have to be any genre. The world has like thousand
Uh,
genres of music.
yes.
Hey,
Yes.
Bollywood is just one of them.
Yes.
All right. Your favorite time to exercise, sunrise or sunset?
Any time of the day.
That's the first time I'm getting.
Honestly. Anytime. There's no, I mean,
No
I
favorite.
do not, my body is ready. Yes, no favorite.
No
No favorite.
favorites. No favorites.
No
Okay, that's the
favorites.
first time I'm getting. That's the first answer. First of that answer I'm getting in my podcast. I asked that for a lot of my guests.
Uh-huh.
Um, last one, which is one of my question I ask all my guests, is that if you made a movie out of your life,
Uh-huh.
okay, uh, what genre would you put it in, and who would you hire to play your role?
Oh, wow. All right. um, I would say who would the actress be?
Okay.
She is a controversial actress, but Kangana Ranaut.
All
Um,
right.
she's controversial for different reasons. What would be? It would be a movie which has got, life. Um,
Like an
just
inspirational
life.
movie.
Like an
Inspirational.
inspirational movie, and
Mm,
in the last so many decades that of career that I have changed my career so many times, and I think this is my fourth career, and I'm
mm,
just loving it, right? And so for me, life is about learning,
mm,
and there is no stopping. The day I stop learning is my last day.
mm.
And so my movie would be about that keep on going. Yes, there's a
All right.
lot to learn. Yes.
And what about Kangana? You like?
um well, I identify with the curly hair. And I just feared I just feel that she's fearless.
Mm,
And being fearless is one of the first qualities a person needs to have to live life,
mm,
right? Fear is a limitation that your mind puts on yourself. And if that is
yeah.
something that one can get over, then possibilities is not just this world, it's like huge
Mm.
universe, right? So, yeah,
All right. Yeah.
starting there. So.
Kangana, we're sending a script your way. Check your inbox. All right. Hey, you did well. We learned a few more things in the process, Joe. Thanks for being a
Thank
good
you.
sport. And we're
Thank
kind of
you.
coming to a wrap up here. I
Mhm.
want to give you the last word. Any final message to our listeners and audience?
So, what I would say is your breath is your best friend. Treat it well. It's your only friend, actually.
Mhm.
So learn how to breathe right. Breathe through life with ease. Uh, it's not as complicated as people make out to be. It's yours. Keep it simple. Just
Mhm.
love. Start with love and serve and give. These three things, and everything is yours. So
Lovely. Lovely. Joe, thanks a lot for sharing yourself on the podcast. I'll let you go enjoy the rest of the evening, and we
thank
shall stay in
you.
touch.
Yeah, thank you. I hope I've been a contribution to this podcast of yours, Santosh. It's been such a pleasure and so much fun. And in fact, I had to think about myself too with some of your
Mm.
questions. So that was really, really nice. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye.
And bye. Bye.